All right, good morning, everybody. All right, so markets are down to its first destination. We should see some stabilization. I'm hoping for a little push down through that low there. It was down below the closing low on Friday, and then it come up at the end of the day. It was a little short covering there. Nothing of any significance. Yeah, so the weekly charts, we've got that measured move down to the lows. No, the green reversal bar failed. We talked about that way back then. And so prices are a little bit extended now. Should stabilize a little bit. And over the weekend, in the videos, we went through monthly charts, and they don't suggest the end is over. No, they don't. If I can grab this, pull it down there. Well, that's the one level. And the reason I talked about that was here we got a continuation on the monthly charts. There's a few days left in the month, but assuming this is going to close somewhere down here, it should break this and eventually come lower. That doesn't mean it won't bounce from here, because our internals are down at levels that typically they bounce from. The sentiment's not there. So I'm, I'm hopeful that everything lines up ideally, so we get the best setup for a counter trend bounce. Because down here at 356 or change like that, the markets, I can't remember the last time it didn't bounce. Most times it would have been a continuous move down without this congestion. That congestion is going to be, I think, a pretty significant support area if it can get through it. Maybe we start to change the opinion about the higher time frame. So we'll see how that plays out. It's 360 level of some significance there. But, it can break down through it, take out those, prior lows here, maybe get a little bit of a flush, internals being down here, and maybe some extra put buying. It should set up at least a counter trend bounce, for a few days. So that's what I'd be hoping for. And so I always look, where does it go down to the overnight? It was basically running in place. And no big deal, just inside day. You can see the futures just hanging down here. They're down at the low. Just such an obvious place after, we had this little measured move, this one, and the green bar, little buy setup failed, which would have been surprising if it had not, because starting with an igniting wide range bar like that, hitting a little support, reversal, it's supposed to fail. And it failed and came down to the next level. Now it's supposed to stabilize a bit and some kind of stabilization or counter trend move. I think if we go into this week, let's just say Wednesday, and this thing is still chopping around down here without any meaningful move to the upside, I would consider that to be bearish. Let's get rid of some of this stuff here from the past. So I've got this on a monthly time frame. Something interesting I saw over the weekend, showed over the weekend, was some of these ETFs. So what's on this computer? Yeah, weekly. And here's the weekly ones. Daily, weekly. Anyway, I can change them all to weekly. They're taking their sweet time. Are they on weekly? Yeah, they're on weekly. Look at Germany. That's coming down, and you saw the pound getting killed over the weekend, almost down to the pandemic low. maybe on monthly here. Here you go. France heading down there. It's down to the sport. Germany almost down to the pandemic low. And, Japan almost there. So I don't know that the U.S. markets are going to go down there, but, with these looking like they're going to go lower, I would think that they got to go at least lower based on those monthly time frames. So, again, just short term this week, at a minimum, stabilization. Credit spreads might be a little early. It's Monday. You got to go out to the end of the week. Of course, SPX, SPY. I doubt there's any premium in SPY, but we can look at SPX. How far away can we get? Look over here. You want the top level? 37.95. I don't really care for the top side after it's down this much. I'm not saying it'll go up there. It's not. It's a good distance. Would have to. For getting up there for today, Jacob, I would think not, since it's just stabilizing here. So, all right. And I'm going to go look at my other platform here. So you can go down. There's got to be something good down below those levels there. 35. 35.75. I wouldn't call that a no-brainer either. Say 35.70. 35.50. 35. What is the premium there, McGrath? 35.50. I always mess up my my TC 2000. 35.50. Only zero. It only shows 20 by 35. Oh, 37. Oh, 20 wide. 30. Is that what you're saying? No. It's 200 wide. No, you're saying 35.50. Yes, hold on. There's nothing at 35.50. Not enough to consider doing it. 35.75. Maybe if it drops 35.70. Uh, 35. 35.70 should be fine. All right, if you want 37.70, 37.70. Hmm. 37.75 is fine. 37.75. 37.75. All right, so you got a gap fill. Got to get through the gap fill. travel from where it is down here. Okay. All right. So 37.75 and 35. 35. Why are these things moving? Now they're zeroing out. All right, let me keep going here. It's getting late. You got it. Yeah, well, and maybe that's a sign of the top, since it's so extreme. Now it's going vertical, where here it was just correcting, self-correcting type of an uptrend on the way up, and I mean, just in the short term, it might, because this is not going to have enough data going out to a monthly chart. But I think this can go higher. It's just that it's short term getting extended, going up like that. It could maybe even one more day up. Let's see. And so if the market can drop, we want to see if the volatility index can tag these levels up here, 34, 35. and so with the idea of a short-term low here, we look for as much as possible can be in place. So the VIX popping up there, the dollar's going up. If we can see the 10-year, that continues to go up, and maybe that'll 10-year come up into this area here near 4%. It's been going up multiple weeks in a row. Again, extended, coming up to some resistance up here, 4%, whole number. It's got a little room to get up there. So, that would imply, if this continues to move up, and we do have, I think the pound was actually stabilizing, but you just see the nasty drop there that occurred. So things appeared to be getting, I would say, semi-climactic. So these near the end of a trend, we'll see vertical moves such as that. The euro, that moved down rapidly, and I think the yen is now, led the way down. So that's stabilizing, and the dollar moving up as it is. Just typically, as prices move in that way, we're waiting for the momentum to stall. Small candle body, and then we'll see if it breaks a low, or however it's going to happen. But it'll just be a short-term stall because it got extended. We won't know if it's a trend change for a while. Bitcoin is up here a little bit, just kind of hanging on the edge. So a lot of things to keep an eye on is to see, hey, we think this market can bounce, but maybe it can go down a bit further. So it's a little tricky. Tricky in that we're going to need to be patient, because right now things are just stabilized. If this was the end of the day and we had this inside bar where the momentum slowed like that, and we could say, all right, then we'd go down and look at the the hourly chart or a 30-minute chart and see, okay, it's building a base here. He's getting ready for a counter trend pop. But here it is, at a little after 9 o'clock in the morning, and we don't have enough information. So things are likely to jiggle around a bit more. Well, that's what we want to see, McGraw. People to start buying those puts and the VIX to pop up there, and that would be a sign of that sentiment getting to an extreme level, and then aligned with breadth, and it all comes together for a tradable bounce. That's all we want. I'm not saying it's the bottom, because I don't think it is the bottom, but it's enough of a scenario for some kind of a bounce. And you see the Russell moving down as far as it has. It's down here near support. I don't know if it's an inside bar or not, so we'll wait and see. It could be one more down day, coming down to these lows, just for a little, more for good measure, a little more scare, a little more closer, a break in the lows, the greater than 100% retracement. Qs are same story here, no different. All right, so we're getting a little pullback in the 3-month now that the Fed has done what they've done, and so we'll be keeping an eye on this. See, it's pulled back here into this area, like it did the last time. Does it start ripping up again, or does the market tell us that they believe the Fed has done enough? And so one of the things that could happen here that you can keep an eye on is, one is, does it go back up? Or does it try and go back up and fail and get one of those measured moves like we saw on the daily and the weekly of the indices? Well, Frenchie, if you want to do that, waiting for SPX to break the high of a previous day's bar, I'm telling you the same thing, looking at, whatever it's the futures here. So the ideal scenario would be, if today was a narrow range day, it builds a base on the intraday time frame, and then yes, it trades above that high, which would be a base on the intraday time frame, and it has some kind of a 1 or 2 or possibly even 3-day move, up into this resistance area. And similarly, the Qs gap down. It's down here on support. It's chopping around here, building a little intraday base. But as far as SPX options goes, no, you don't need it to wait for it to trade above a previous day's high. That would be too long. Right. So oil's been dropping. You see the drop here. Now it's under this support. Looks like it's got to come somewhere down here. And if it does drop rapidly to the downside, one of my thoughts over the weekend was, look, if we should see oil drop like that, and then, we see this 3-month start to drop, that would be the markets. This would need to drop, right? And then you'd need to see, the 10-year starting to pull in a little bit. The markets would be telling us that maybe they're thinking what the Fed has done, they should cool it for a little while, but that's yet to be seen. Now, ugliness, look, the transports are down through the July low. And the Dow broke down through it. So, they're talking on CNBC, June low, whatever it held, and whatever. There's plenty of damage being done in a lot of different places. So whether that holds or not is irrelevant. These things have met short-term targets anyway with these measured moves. You can see a smaller measured move here and a larger measured move there. This has broken the low. We've got internals here. Now we just wait to see for a pattern to form. Now that we've got our bias that we should be a day or two that things should at least attempt to bounce. Well, that's it. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a boring morning here. Recovered some of the morning weakness, Qs break even, which of the 4 horsemen is the most relative strength. This could be a 30-minute high. I'll be looking to do 0 DTE puts. Spider's weaker. I obviously want IWM is the weakest of the 4. I'm obviously rooting for the lower low capitulation scenario too. We did a chart of the week on climactics, and this was in the weekend letter also. This is a Climo, relative strength, gapping up here today. Look at all that volume, far from the 20. But we actually did it on charter here, the chart of the week, but they're both Climos. I don't know when it's gonna turn, but look at this. Climo, Climo, Climo. That one's not a Climo. Because look how close it is to the MAs, but Climo. There's some activity in casinos. I guess Macau wants to open up, so I have this as a put spread idea, reversal and support. And I'm just gonna try to get to whatever limit credit I said. So the other competitors, LBS, we'll look at that one also. But that one's actually gapping too much now. Look at that, 38.82. That's already 50% gap. MGM. No, that one's weaker. Milco. There you go. But the gap's too big again. Look how this one's gapping up 70%. But that is a great example of major support. Wow. Look how many reversals you have here. Wow. XPIF gapping up here. That's just such a powerful, nasty downtrend, but 30-minute high, maybe it just like gives us a day trade. TCOM here, I was watching last week on this gap breakout, and it got sloppy. Now it's gapping up again. I don't know what's going on with this stock, but this is very nice support level. Let's keep an eye on that. Selling out of my put. RBA. So this one's kind of a little bit of a Climo. We actually shorted this as a 1, 2, 3 last week. So it was a great trade. This one in a trail mode. But now it's on my long list. You know, I like Climos to accelerate faster and then with a more potent reversal. But what I like about this is you got the 200 and you got a potent 180 over here. So it's on the list. Let's just see when it wants to turn. Again, you know, this one's technically not a Climo because of, you know, we want them fluid and this had a 3-day resting period, but it met its measured move near support. So let's keep an eye on this to trade a bounce. We're traders, you know. If it bounces 1 to 3 days, we'll take it. Mara here, you know, Bitcoin mining stock. So that's a bear gap, failed reversal, declining 20, closing breakdown. That's a short under Friday's low. It's good to go. Twitter, you know, in this market, that's actually bullish as can be. Going sideways at all these converging MAs. It's amazing strength. I know it's in the news, of course, and I actually saw in the news that Elon Musk is getting deposed today, but that's a nice looking setup. That's a great moving average example. Breakdown failure, breakout, gap reversal, bottoming tail. So I wouldn't do it though unless it took out last week's high. So Wednesday's high. There's a Climo. So there's a Climo on major support. I'm going to go ahead and set an alarm on this one. That looks good. 235 alarm. All right, futures pulling in a little bit here at pre-market resistance. So that looks good. WDC. Now see, this is just steady, nasty selling. But I like to pick up in volume. I don't know. I still need that turn. One green bar is not going to negate this turn, but it's on my list. I'll keep it. Tandem. What do we want to do with this? maybe over Thursday's high. We could sell it out of the money put. ABBV. I think I found these in Barron's. Barron's had an article about all kinds of healthcare stocks. ABBV over Friday's high. It's a big inverse head and shoulders pattern. See the 20 MA curled up. Has a price void. So that looks good. H is the EMP bottoming pattern. I'm going to set an alert at 63.50. Maxon alarm. Typically I don't trade in the first 5 minutes, but for whatever reason on Mondays, I usually wait 10 minutes unless you have an awesome like gap trade or something. Just there's more weekend order flow and stuff has to work its way through. Wow, this win went down to 25-cent credits. So they sucked the juice out of that. So, well, I'll leave it there, see if we get some type of bullish retracement. Hey, Rocco. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, went vertical greater than 100%. It's just bobbling around sideways. It's not ready right now, Stephen, but sure, it's worthy of the list. All right, here's our GNRC. All right, Q's taking out Friday's closing price. Strongest of the four. Looking at my things, Netflix has the nicest looking 15-minute chart. Tesla's still weak. And the others kind of look like dead in the, well, Meta actually 15-minute chart too. Yeah, these could be day trade scalps. I'm still going to wait 10 minutes. As I said, it's only 9:31. Not rushing into anything. Oh, that win is ripping. Look at Milko. Is over last week's closing price. Net, we have a bear call credit spread. I just had an up alarm. Let's see where we're at, 62.66. All right, so we can move stop break even at least. Midpoint 24. Let's see, I'll move stop over this thing. 58.22. Hey, McGraw, we'll go over your list that you got from. Wow, Q's moving here. So now I'm getting more bullish for day trades.